Hey, happy spring equinox. And I am so glad that you have decided to join me for another segment of Flow with Tarot. All right, so I am about to head out, but I wanted to do this video really quick. So we're going to just pick a card and we're going to just power through. And like always, remember, this is not a reading per se, okay? It's not a reading. I am just taking you through my process of connecting with tarot, okay? So I've just spread these out like this, and I'm just going to pick from the middle. We'll just see what comes up. So what we have here is the Seven of Cups. So let me put this down so I can put the rest of these cards back in the bag. All right, so we have the Seven of Cups, okay? And so, again, and I always say this with each and every card, each card has what we would call its light side, and then it has its shadow side, okay? And the way to that I approach tarot is to approach it through in an observing lens, not a judgmental lens, okay? And to pay attention to patterns that come up with tarot. All right, again, we don't need a little piece of paper to tell us how to live our lives, to tell us what's going to happen in our lives, because ultimately we are sovereign. However, there are tools, metaphysical tools such as tarot, that we can use as an accessory, all right, as we elevate in our spirituality and as we elevate in our everyday lives, as we apply our spirituality, as we integrate our spirituality into our daily lives, okay? So, I said all that to say this. With the Seven of Cups, we can look at this several ways. We can look at the Seven of Cups as, okay, we've got all of these possibilities that are either in front of us with our physical eye, or we know, we just live, we exist in the possibilities that we know exist in the ethers, that we know exist in our DNA, and perhaps we cannot readily see them in front of us, but we just know that they exist because our cells tell us that those infinite possibilities exist. Our intuition, our knowing, our inner wisdom says that all of those possibilities exist, okay? We can look at the card that way, and we can use our spirituality to help us connect with those possibilities instead of looking at the possibilities that we can see with our natural eye. Instead of looking at those possibilities as linear, when we pull back the lens, when we lift the layer or lift the veil to reveal other than what's on the surface, we can tap into those infinite possibilities, okay? And we can start to take action, not based on what's on the surface, but based on what we've seen when we have lifted the veil. All right, we can look at the Seven of Cups in that way as well. We can also look at this Seven of Cups as perhaps having, we can explore the question of, okay, yes, there are infinite possibilities, but is there such a thing as having too many options? Are there too many options in front of us for the moment? And let me illustrate it this way. Let's say that you have a desire to travel, okay? And we know that this world, okay, the world is big and small at the same time, but that's another topic for another day. But we'll just go with, the world is big. There's what, 145 countries. Is that how many countries there are over the entire world? Somewhere around there, right? And those are a lot of options, okay? And sometimes if we have a desire where we say, you know what, from now on, my standard is to be free in my life to travel, to travel. I want to be a world citizen. I want to be a traveler. That's how I want to live my life. I don't want to live in one place. I want to live all over. I want to live anywhere and nowhere at the same time. Perhaps that is the standard and the desires that you set for yourself now going forward. Okay, perhaps that is a possibility that you have brought in for yourself for this new spring equinox. Okay, maybe that is the intention that you have set. Okay, and anything below that is pushed out of the way. All right, because that's the desire that you're ready to receive in your life, right? And so perhaps you're sitting down and you're thinking, okay, where's the country that I want to go to? Where do I want to go next? Where do I want to go travel to next? And you have all of these options in front of you and you become overwhelmed. Well, this is where you have to connect with your body and know where overwhelm is showing up. You have to be able to recognize the overwhelm when it's there. So are you so overwhelmed where you have stopped planning your next flight where you're going to go? Have you stopped planning all of that altogether? Have you stopped looking at plane tickets altogether? Have you stopped packing altogether? Have you stopped planning your travel list altogether because you have too many options? You have to know when having all of those options is not helping you. You have to know when to say, okay, I have all these options, I'm going to choose one. Maybe the option today, as far as, and I'm just using travel to illustrate this, but this can be applied to everything. Perhaps today you say, well, you know what? Maybe it's going to feel too overwhelming for me to get on a plane at the moment, but I know I want to travel. So where can I get in my car and go right now? Let me choose a place. But again, for you to be aware when the options that you have in front of you are overwhelming, when it's too much, you have to be in tune with your body to know that. You have to be in tune with your intuition to be able to determine that. So maybe right now you're thinking, okay, let me just choose a place. Where can I drive? What new city can I drive to? And then next is, okay, I've driven to this new city. Now I'm ready to make my air travel plans. Maybe you need to take it step by step. And that's not really, to me, I don't look at that. That's not really a step by step. You're making different choices for the moment. So that's how we can look at this card. I know on the surface with this card, I remember starting with tarot, and this would come up a lot. It would come up a lot. And I would just look at it, and off top, just on the surface, yes, this looks very exciting. Oh, I have all these things that I can do. I have all these things in front of me that I want to do. Okay, yes, you can look at it that way, but then also look at it as, don't leave that other part out. Are you acting on any of those options? Are you just sitting back, just looking at all the options? And when that happens, it's because the options have become overwhelming. So you just take a step back and you just choose one. All right? Leave the others where they're at. You put your energy into that one. All right? So let me know what your thoughts are, what your takeaways are from the Seven of Cups. All right? And until next time, stay in your magic. Stay in your magic. All right? Be confident in it. Be bold in it. Yeah. All right.